first start with the Lord of the Rings. And hi everybody! Hi Theo! So we're continuing our series of videos about Lord of the Rings and comparing them to Game of Thrones. And today we want to compare maybe the two main characters or the two most popular characters, I don't know, Jon Snow and Aragorn. Of course, both Aragorn and Jon are great soldiers, great warriors, heroic even.
Was traditionally heroic.
Right.
Physically brave.
Leaders of men.
Leaders.
And both are outsiders that are somehow destined to rule.
So Jon, he's the king of the north.
King of the North!
We just found out that he's the child of Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar Targaryen.
Who was the heir before his dad was killed. Right, and Aragorn, he's of course the heir to Isildur, and this is his claim to power.
Right, and Isildur is from the line of kings that were refugees.
And they're both kind of out of place, right? Like Aragorn is walking around, he's doing rangery stuff. And Jon doesn't know, he's a Stark, he's a Snow, he's
kind of an outcast, like all the Night's Watchmen are kind of outcasts.
Right, and he's not with the wildlings, like nobody likes him, it's very sad.
So Aragorn is also in a sort of place of transition when we meet him. He's got, he's known as Strider in this part of the world in Bree. They're known as Rangers. Yet that's kind of odd because they're like almost a line of royalty. The men of Numenor are the descendants of kings, but they're kind of almost like Robin Hood out in the woods.
And nobody knows that the Rangers are these royalty types.
Right, nobody but the learned know. Right. The Night's Watch as well. They were once, this great, honorable. It was once this very high honor to be a member of the Night's Watch. Right, people would choose to go to the wall and defend the people and take the oath and take the vow.
But people forgot.
And they forgot, right? And over time, and now it's sort of looked at it as place. You send your, you can either get gelded or they can send you to the Night's Watch.
Right. And they're going and taking only like the worst people to put them on the Night's Watch. And they forgot that the Night's Watch role was to protect against the White Walkers / others and not against the wildlings.
So another similarity is both of these orders are sort of protecting the realm from these supernatural evils without the people actually knowing about it. So Aragorn and the Rangers are always waging this war against the enemy, and they say, if simple folk will be fair and free, then simple they will be. I screwed it up.
If simple folk are free from care and fear, simple they will be.
Yeah. And we must be secret to keep them so, right?
And we must be secret to keep them so. Boom! Chakalaka! You remember better than the page.
Mm-hmm. There's a quote. He says, if simple folk will be free from care and fear, simple they will be, and we must be secret to keep them so.
Maybe it's a little bit like we are the sword in the darkness. Some CIA shit going on there.
That's right. Or Mossad.
Shh. What the fuck did you say? I think another similarity between those two characters, they're both kind of like tortured and they have greatness like thrust upon them.
Well, maybe movie Aragorn, book Aragorn, he's not really tortured or anything. He's just he's ready to go, really, right? He's from the get-go. He's like, all right, let's do it.
I'm the king.
He's like,
yeah,
I'm the king.
Sword,
Can I be king now? What's going on? He's not really tortured. The PJ felt like he needed a tortured guy in that role.
I thought it was a good character, the movie's Aragorn, and I like the tortured stuff, but maybe I just like to torture people, so that could be it. You would agree that both of them have a destiny, they're going towards a destiny. We know Aragorn's destiny, we don't really know Jon's destiny,
we don't know.
But they're going somewhere important.
They seem destined for greatness.
With book Aragorn, it's not finding his place, like official place, but finding himself. He's discovering that he's worthy, not just by his name. He wants to be really worthy. It's important to him to do well.
So in season 6, Jon really proved himself in battle, and he was a leader of men, and that, they named him King of the North.
Right.
Aragorn also is very important that he prove himself as a leader of men and a leader of battle against Sauron.
Right.
And
there's this line about John.
Kill the boy and let the man be born.
And John, he didn't want to become king of the North, right? He was just looking to take back Winterfell and save his brother. And in Lord of the Rings, I think Aragorn tells him, or Gandalf,
No,
put aside the ranger
was,
and become who you were supposed to be.
it was Arwen.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It reminds me of this quote from an Israeli song that only war, if it comes, will bring us back home. That they find their true calling through war.
רק מלחמה אם תבוא תחזיר אותנו הביתה כמו אהוב לאהובה כמו אחרי מלחמה.
It's some deep shit going on here.
Yeah, it's good.
Like, there's one thing about Aragorn in the movies, like he's supposed to be like this great ranger, and as they're chasing like the orcs, like to get Merry and Pippin, like he's listening to the ground.
Their pace is quickened.
Their pace has quickened, like he can literally hear the paces. But then later, he's just talking there, and at the very last second, he sees that there's like a band of horses coming with the Rohan guys, and he runs away. Like at the very last minute, you just fucking see them before, only when they were there, and they ask him,
Do you see two hobbits with them?
They would be small, only children to your eyes.
We left none alive. We piled the carcasses and burned them.
there's a pile of burning dead bodies right here, and you can see the smoke on the horizon. What the fuck kind of ranger is that?
He has a problem with consistency.
Right.
The actors, there's a difference. Viggo, I think he brings a lot of, pathos and emotion to the role.
And you can see that there's a lot behind the eyes, like he's smart and wise and stuff.
Yeah.
And Kit Harington?
Yeah, he's kind of has just blue steel. The connection goes even deeper. They're both from the north. They both have this kind of connection to magic from their lineage.
John has ghost and he can warg.
Right, he's a warg,
He
and
comes
that's
back to
clearly
life.
yeah.
And Aragorn.
Aragorn comes from this line of sort of almost half elves. He's the men of Numenor. So Numenor was like this island inhabited
He also comes from a line that they have like unnaturally long life. That's kind of some Bible shit going on right there.
The Dunedain, and the descendants of the men of Numenor.
And also John, by the end of season 6, right, he's king of the north. By the end of the story, Aragorn is king. But Aragorn is the king because he is the rightful heir. There's no even question about it. Is he worthy? John, he has to prove he's worthy. He became king of the north only by proving his worth. And his job is not done yet. He's only a wartime king.
Right, because Aragorn's descendants are Elendil, and these are the refugees from the island of Numenor, who destroyed.
So basically, it's like the house of David in the Bible.
Yeah. So the gods gave man, as a reward for being good, for getting rid of Morgoth, they gave them this island called Numenor, right? And it's actually shaped like a star. So it's maybe similar to Hotline of David. And it was a sort of Tolkien's version of an Atlantis myth. So, Numenor is this, kind of great society, this beautiful civilization, but they are forbidden from sailing to the Undying Lands. And they're only allowed to get as far away from the island of Numenor as they can see from the shore of Numenor. So the people of Numenor are the descendants of Elros, who's Elrond's brother. So both Elrond and Elros were the descendants of Beren and Luthien. Elrond chooses to remain immortal, and his brother Elros chooses mortality. Right, so they can both choose because they have Beren and Luthien are in their ancestry. Elros's descendants are the Numenorian and the kings of Numenor, and eventually Aragorn. After a while, they're like, hey, we kind of want to live forever. Why can't we go to the Undying Lands? Why'd we give up immortality? That was stupid. And they start getting really angry and they become obsessed. And this is where the Dark Lord Sauron the Deceiver comes into the story, and he manipulates this king Al-Pharazôn the Golden into becoming Morgoth worshippers. There was only a few that stayed true to the real gods, to Eru and Ainur, and those were the faithful. And the faithful, persecuted, and they, kind of had to hide out. And on the boat with the faithful are Elendil, Isildur, Anarion. And these are the kings that will assume kingship of Gondor and Arnor, these kingdoms, and eventually Aragorn.
That was interesting. Okay, so let's get to this video's bold prediction. When we compare Jon and Aragorn, Tolkien and George R.R. Martin, their sensibilities, what they like, what they don't like, what does that mean for the rest of the story for Jon?
Tolkien was a royalist. Aragorn had the right blood. He's got the only claim, right? Because that's it. That's how it works. Boom. Nice neat little bow. Right. Martin, he's much more cynical about, a blood claim, the rule by right of blood claim.
Right.
So, and the monarchy system really, it yields a lot of incest. You keep having to marry one another to keep in power. And it's interesting because it's very similar to Aragorn and Arwen.
How so?
Well, Aragorn is a descendant of Numenor.
Right, we already established that. You don't have to understand. Right.
Numenorians are the descendants of Elros.
Okay.
Elros's brother
is Elrond.
Arwen's father. So we got a little kissing cousins.
Cousiny, something going on there. Okay.
Bold prediction. Aragorn gets with his relative. Danny's going to get with Daenerys. John's going to get with Daenerys.
Okay, that's good. Okay, keep it, right? Okay. George R.R. Martin sees monarchy so differently, so Jon will not end up like Aragorn. Even after he wins and he's the hero, he will not be the king on the throne, because this is not the same story. In A Song of Ice and Fire, if you were a king and you were gone for 1,000 years, and other people were ruling in your name, they would become kings. They would not stay stewards, and when you come back, hey, I'm home, honey, I'm home after 1,000
king's
years.
Here, guys.
It's like, oh man, he's here. So okay, 1,000 years, that's enough. So no, this is not that kind of story. That kind of story. So in order for Jon to be king, he will have not only to beat the White Walkers, he would also have to beat others who see themselves as having a claim to the throne. Daenerys, Cersei, Sansa, Littlefinger. This is something that Aragorn did not have to deal with. So let's see how that works. I'm not very optimistic, but I don't know, that's me. Support us on Patreon if you want to. You'll not regret it. Did you regret it?
Only a little.
Here are other videos that you might not have seen. And we'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.
ועכשיו לאכול, לשתות מהיין, אחר כך נרקוד ונעלה אל הים.